And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting. This is, of course, still the AcadArena National Campus Open powered by Globe. And this is the road, of course, to IEF 2020, where our collegiate esports representative will be fighting off against other Southeast Asian teams. We will be your shoutcasters for the last game for today. I'm Hyron. With me is Vansu. And we'll be getting to Valiant Archangels, the main team from Holy Angel University, versus Apex Tamaraws from FEUA Alabang.
Yeah, so I think this is gonna be a good fight. No? Kasi we've known Holy Angel played really well from
Mm-hmm.
their last alliance split, and as well as FPU. Basically, both teams have a really good players on their side. No? Siguro na lang
Mm-hmm.
magkakaiba dito yung how they play around the map, how would be able to draft on their composition.
Mm-hmm. And for the most part, the roster didn't really change for Valiant Archangels. No,
Yeah,
they still have Parzival, Red Flank, Corgi, Kaidan, and of course Parzival
yeah.
was a super contender for one of the best players from Alliance League previously, and now they're fighting off against Apex Tamaraws here, who we're not as familiar with, right? Like usually we see people from FEU or FEU main, like the FEU in Moraita, and FEU Alabang here is gonna be really interesting to see how they perform. Because right now they're 0-1, but I'm hoping that they can redeem themselves here. Lilian Hecarim, immediate ban out against the jungler for Apex Tamaraws. Meanwhile, a mid lane ish ban here against Valiant Archangels, and with a flex ban on that Lucian.
Yeah, I think Holy Angel knew that uh, the jungler from Apex Summons would be the bigger threat here. No?
Mm-hmm.
Lalo na they banned Lilia and Hecarim. Both junglers are really good to clear those camps easily. No? Na both are healthy junglers as well as yung gank nila. Na, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, if you're able to gank with Hecarim with that speed, almost hindi mo siya ma-deny.
Mm-hmm. As for yeah, and then the Shen as well, they don't want na merong map. They don't want na merong map presence yung Apex Tamaraws dito. Shen, of course, uh, we've seen it played support. We've seen it, of course, played top, and just the ability to stand united is so good. It relieves so much pressure in the lane, gives you so much freedom when it comes to rotations. But we'll see how Valiant Archangels deals with this. Of course, Red Plank signature Gangplank is going to be banned here, but he has other carry top laners up his sleeve. But he seems like for now, he is going to go for a more tanky support role here on the top side of the map.
So I think normally Ornn wouldn't be a good first pick, but since they knew that Apex Tamaraws already banned Silas, which
Mhm.
is a counter for Ornn, so siguro they
Ooh.
should have went for. I mean, normally yun nga, hindi talaga feel first pick yung Ornn, pero yeah, they still first pick it kasi they knew that Silas is already banned. Kasi usually when you pick Ornn, you always try to respond with Silas.
Mhm. Because sobrang ganda lang talaga to steal that Call of the Forge Goblin. Apex Tamaraws, the Jace pickup.
Oh,
It's been a while since I saw Jace in Collegiate here. And I'm gonna be pretty interested to see how this plays out. Pantheon as well. So from the get-go, parang sinasabi na sa atin or sinasabi na sa Valiant Archangels ng Apex Tamaraws kung ano yung plan nila for their comp.
yeah.
And this Ash here's very, I mean, of course it's lots of CC, but it's very brave, no, considering that there's a Jace, that there's a Pantheon.
Okay, so for
Oh,
those
that's
two
why.
picks of Apex Tamaraws, the Jace and Pantheon, siguro it shows na they do want to punish Red Flank on the top side. No? Kasi
Mm-hmm.
we know that Jace is a good counter pick for Ornn. And for that Pantheon naman siguro, Apex Tamaraws want to put a pressure on bot lane. No? Kasi Pantheon can be a really good pick. No? Kasi in terms of poking, pwede yung Pantheon, in terms of trying to engage, ganun Pantheon. And yung ultimate of Pantheon
Wow.
as well, no? Yung map presence talaga sobrang essential for the Apex Tamaraws here.
Yeah, the Starfall here coming in from this Pantheon is gonna be super impactful on no matter what role it's put on here. As for the Apex Tamaraws, locking in this Graves here. So far, there's no like solid tanky front line here for the Apex Tamaraws. It's like they're going all in on the aggressive pick off or aggressive like pick-off kind of comp here. Like banning out the Galio just to prevent the rescue, the panic button na American Galio na magliligtas sa'yo. Mawawala yun sa Valiant Archangels. Let's see how they respond here and continue their ban phase here in the second rotation.
So I don't really like how Apex Tamaraws got drafted for their first three picks. Kasi I mean that's Jace, that's Pantheon, and that's Graves na potentially you can deny those chaps just by building a lot of armors, no? Especially when you pick, I mean, how first pick board, no? Tapos yung first two picks ng Apex Tamaraws is Jace and Pantheon. So that's quite questionable. Pero still, Apex Tamaraws shows na iba yung win condition nila if they were able to punish Ornn on the top side, and if they were able to put on pressure on that Pantheon sa bot side ng HAU, then it's gonna be good.
But we'll have to see though. Valiant Archangels just going straight for these powerful picks. Of course, Samira synergizes as well, just being able to dish out a lot of damage in short succession. Syndra as well, lots of burst damage, and seems like FEUA Alabang, they're gonna have to draft either a tanky solo laner here, or if this Pantheon is actually not going support, then like a defend, like an initiator frontliner kind of support here. But Valiant Archangels, look at that. This is like two big sources of disengage on the side of Valiant Archangels.
I think that Brom pick here is really good, no? Kasi when you have Graves and on the enemy side, you can potentially deny a lot of auto attacks from them, no? Kasi we know that Graves and Jin, yung mga auto attacks is really heavy, no? So Brom is just there to siguro fend them off. Pero siguro FEU has been taking a lot of AD champs here, no? Medyo bad for them, pero they're still picking their fifth pick now. That should be an AP. Kasi if naging AD pa to, I don't think it would be really good for them. No? Kasi yun nga, the composition of HAU, if you're going to pick that 5 AD comp, wouldn't be that great.
It's so weird. I mean, if they pick up the Kali, it rounds out the damage better. But what is this? What is this draft from Apex Tamaraws?
I don't really know.
I really dislike this draft. I like this draft like 0% like this draft.
But I do like the draft coming from HAU, no? They were able to get those AP jungler and potentially AP damage coming from Ornn, and as well as the Yone mid that can dish a lot of damage na potentially yung ultimate ng Yone can get a lot of carries, especially knowing that yung composition ng Apex Tamaraws here are almost lahat carries na very, very squishy, no? So yung Call of the Forge here is siguro when they try to fight for a potential objective is really massive here, no? If Ornn is able to get that Call of the Forge sa mga carries ng Apex Tamaraws, then that would be bad for Apex Tamaraws.
Yeah, and Valiant Archangels is just well-rounded. They have initiation, they have counter-engage, they have damage from the Yone and the Ashe. And even if Corgi goes like the AP Gragas on that jungle with the Runic Echoes, then that's even more damage up there. As for Apex Tamaraws, they have one trick pony yung comp na to eh. They have Akali, they have Pantheon. So what really just do is try to get a pick off on someone, get the get the pick off on someone, get the point that click stun from the Pantheon, follow it up with all the vomit out all of the damage that Apex Tamaraws has, from the shock blast to the end of the line to the perfect execution into a deadly flourish. But there's almost no consistency to this unless they really play the map well. Alam nila kung sino yung isolated sa Valiant Archangels. This comp is just so questionable for me.
So I agree with you there, no? Kasi yung Holy Angels composition is really well-rounded, no? May engage sila, may disengage. Actually, halos lahat ng component that a team needs to have, meron ganun yung HAU. On the other side, Apex Tamaraws here, so for me, the only winning condition they have is if they're able to pick those early leads on the sides, no? Kasi especially when you have Graves, I mean Jace on top versus Ornn, so you can potentially deny a lot of CS from Ornn if nag-camp ng Graves. So as well as on their bot side, no? Kasi Jhin has a CC and Pantheon as well. So siguro if both, if the top lane and the bot lane would be able to get that early golden, so siguro might be pwede silang manalo. So for mid naman kasi Akali and Yone, siguro for mid they're even naman. So
Yeah, skill, but
siguro
it's like a
yeah,
skill matchup.
skill matchup talaga siya.
But yeah, there's definitely a win condition here for Apex Tamaraws. There's a way that they can win. There's a possibility.
We
I
still
just
cannot deny that they have a
Yeah,
winning condition,
definitely.
even if
Eh,
their composition is not that good.
but of course, I'm seeing a lot of support here from both of our teams. A lot of HAU win. I want to see some Apex Tamaraws FEU win as well in there. And of course, as usual, as with all the games that we've had today, we have our hashtag low prepaid virtual hangouts chat rally. So just share this stream publicly with a hashtag low prepaid virtual hangouts. And of course, hashtag FEU win or hashtag HAU win, and you will get a chance to win 300 pesos worth of RP. So, this is the last chance you have for today. Let's grow our community. Let's show our friends that collegiate esports in the Philippines is thriving. And let's get right into this. And yeah, remember, just show your support to the teams, and let's have some fun in the chat here. Show some support here because I think FEU needs it with this kind of comp. Uh, let's see if they'll prove me wrong, prove me and Vansu wrong here. But looking at the standings, this is the second day that we have for our group stage, and I think next week, November 1, is the last day for the group stage before we move on to semis. So, sobrang bilis ng group stage natin.
So for Apex Tamaraw, siguro if natalo sila dito, it would be really bad for them kasi after this game and na 0-2 sila, siguro potentially madedelay na yung slot nila
Mhm.
for the national group stage. And on the other side, yung how, if they manage to win this Apex Tamaraw game, then lalo lang tataas yung chance nila na they would be able to secure
Mhm.
yung slot for their group.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing here is that the margin of error for FEU Alabang is just way smaller. Like, isang mali lang nila, their comp falls apart.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the side of HAU, marami silang insurance, no? Marami silang ways to disengage, marami silang ways to salvage a situation. Kunwari na-engagean sila ng Pantheon tsaka ng Akali. There's a way for them to recover that situation.
Yeah. So I agree with you there, no? Kasi with that composition, Apex Thanos doesn't really have the luxury to commit a mistakes, no? Kasi with their comp na
Exactly.
easily can fall behind. Kasi yung we can see yung how composition is really good, no? Siguro
Mhm.
how would be just there to punish them if ever they commit a really big mistake for Apex Tamaraws.
Mhm. But I'm excited to see how they'll try to prove us wrong. No?
Yeah.
Like,
What's wrong?
uh, maybe they know something that we don't. Maybe this is like their god comp that instead of fighting the conventional way, they're going to try and take us out, take Valiant Archangels out in some unconventional way that they haven't seen before. But we'll see. We'll see. Valiant Archangels, this is an experienced comp here. I'm sure they've seen a lot of tricks in the book, and I'm pretty sure that they have contingencies in place in case they run into a comp like this. No?
Siguro, maybe Apex Samurai was able to devise a plan to counter HAU. So maybe they watched the HAU's bot and siguro ito, baka ma-counter natin in some point and siguro we can really deny the fact na baka mamaya lahat ng picks pala ng Apex Samurai are their best picks. No? Baka mamaya one trick mind kaya super confident silang pick yung mga champions na gusto nila.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think but you still have to consider na one tricking isn't really recommended. The
Yeah.
higher level of play that you go, especially when you're going to represent, when you're trying to get the slot to represent the Philippines against other Southeast Asian countries, they'll do their homework then. Especially since uploaded lahat ng VODs ng ng National Campus Open sa YouTube channel ng AcadArena. So just search Esports AcadArena on YouTube. Nandun yung mga VODs natin for League of Legends, nandun yung mga VODs natin for Valorant, and dun din i-upload, I think, yung VODs natin for Mobile Legends when we start next week. No? So, just check it out, Esports AcadArena. Even though technically it's just AcadArena now, Um, we haven't changed the YouTube channel name yet. Pero yeah, check it out if you missed any of the games from earlier. Nandun yung mga VODs.
Yeah. So lalo na it's really really easy to stalk the players in here
Yeah.
in national NCO, no? Kasi you just have to check the VODs that uploaded to our YouTube, then yeah, makita mo lang yung digest sila, and you can see who's a one trick player, then just ban that champion on the future games. So sobrang dali lang. So yeah, I agree with you there na one tricking isn't really good. Pero siguro for solo queue, you can rack up a lot of points if you're wanting. Kasi we've seen a lot of one-trick players na nasa challenger. It can be one-trick Kha'Zix, Katrina, na usual one-trick champions. But here in the competitive, that hindi talaga recommended yung type na
Kasi
playstyle.
at that point, people know how to deal with it. Pero
Yeah.
that's beside the point now. They've drafted it. We'll see if they can execute it properly. I think may inaayos lang na konting technical difficulties on the side of the one of the team. So, inaayos lang yan. I think very quickly, magre-resume na ang ating stream and we're gonna load onto the ref for our last game here for today, for the second day of the group stage for National Campus Open. And yun nga, looking at the four. Okay, there we go. There we go. Let's load into Summoner's Rift now for Holy Angel University Valiant Archangels, the main team out of the three teams they've put into NCO versus FEU, Far Eastern University Alabang, Apex Tamaraws. And
like Apex
Cheesy
Tamaraws is
Con,
trying for invade
Cheesy
here.
Strat. They're gonna
They
go
knew
for it.
that they have a Pantheon on their side, so that's why they're trying to invade or potentially get a early kill.
I have a bad
Being
feeling
spotted
about
na.
this. They can
They're
go
being spotted by
maybe
Ash.
Flash here, but I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to. I don't
I
think they're
mean,
going.
Ash has a cleanse here, so Flash wouldn't be really ideal from Pantheon. So siguro, Pantheon should just look for any potential kills na lang on their lanes, or maybe if he can try to roam on the mid side.
Sorry about that. I had to had to fix something, but uh, yeah, looking at where the junglers are starting here, I think at this point Titan just gonna go for a full clear and get as much as many camps as he can. Meanwhile, Corgi, of course, on this Gragas will want to pressure early, and it's really about FEUA to really try and like play safe early. Because if they get ganked, if they get behind early, it's going to slow them down so much on this kind of composition.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Grips, you would want to take advantage of that wave clear. Kasi yun nga, Waves is one of the champions that has the most powerful wave clear, no? So, I think just yung early, I mean, full clear on Waves wouldn't be really bad. So, as for Gragas naman, I think Gragas should be able to get an early down here, no? Kasi a lot of champions from the Apex Tamaraw sides is really gangable. I mean, if you're Yone, Gragas, and Akali yung kalin mo, siguro you can just surprise Akali with that first skill and flash of Gragas, and as well as that Jace. So for the top lane versus Jace versus Ornn naman, kasi you can really deny the fact that Jace would be able to dish out a lot of damage early on Ornn. Pero Ornn kasi you can still poke with your skill set. You deal a lot of damage percentage health. So maybe Corgi here would be able to try to jump top lane.
And for the most part, he can he can hide behind the minions, use his Q to poke, and he can match the wave clear that Soba has. So Parzival, of course, using the shield to great effect to trade it out with Doppler, but of course Doppler on that Akali naturally is quite sustainable in that mid lane. Both of them do have that Doran shield, but at this point, most of FEUA's lanes are like Razor's Edge. Like if they get killed, it's very hard to recover. So they have to be extremely careful. They have to play these matchups perfectly against how Valiant Archangels composition. So here, medyo nag-iingat sila, not pushing their luck too hard, especially since bot lane dito Nex and Kaidan, they're really good at making the full use of the concussive blows. Like kanina si Desire, hinahampas lang nila Nex. Pero here, it's gonna be a gank on Parzival. Titan Jill forcing the flash of the Yone could be very big if he goes for a repeat gank.
Parzival here doesn't really have the information that Graves is actually on bot side, no?
Mhm.
Kasi both junglers are on the opposite side of the map and just yung Graves sakto lang na napadaan sa mid. And yeah, that cost Parzival his flash and potentially baka
Oh, but
mapunish.
it's gonna be
Oh!
top side though. Oh, what is that shock blast? But at
Wrong
least he didn't
direction.
die there because that was very very close. But that is a flash force from that Jace, which means it's primed for a repeat gank. But
Yeah.
it is an Ornn, so um, I don't think a kill would be too valuable on Ornn. The more value is really about delaying the power spike of this Jace. So in this bot lane, they're still chilling, relatively even in terms of CS. And in this mid lane though, always trading to make sure that they're keeping each other on their toes.
Yeah, so for that dunk naman na they were able to burn that chase flash. I don't think Ornn would be able to capitalize that na I mean in terms of dunking kasi Ornn and Gragas medyo low sila on dunk. Ooh,
Ooh, forces the
flash.
flash onto Desire, and at the backside there was Titan Jones. So it's actually relatively risky there for how to go for an all-in. Though they could have turned onto Titan Jones, but in the end they're playing it a little bit safer. They realize, okay, it's not worth going for that. Let's just back off. We forced the flash from the Pantheon. That's already good enough. He can't go for flash stun.
So that's a great burn from HAU, no? They were able to burn that kill from Jin and as well as that flash from Pantheon. So basically maybe the next fight that they would have on bot lane siguro baka pag-secure na sila on kill sa bot side. Pero let's talk about the Gragas and Ornn muna. So they were able to
Oh, that's gonna be
burn the...
sealed fate
Oh!
onto Doppler. Ignite is
Oh!
not yet burned, but oh my, the Soul Unbound actually cucks Parzival there. But Corgi is able to finish up the kill, and that is first blood going to HAU. And pretty solid here. An assist on the Yone, a kill on Corgi. This is going to translate very well if Corgi pivots into a high damage kind of Gragas.
Doppler there, no? Wasn't able to react on that flash of Gragas. I mean, he had a flash on that time, no? Hindi lang siguro siya nakapag-flash out. So maybe he wasn't really expecting that flash from Gragas. So yeah, so that's basically a kill from Gragas na mas mauna siya mag build ng jungler item versus Waves. Kasi yeah, Gragas still
So it looks like they're going to trade that first
Oh,
blood for Mountain Blade, which is not bad. They know that HAU wants to recall after that fight, or after that, definitely after that fight. So they take this opportunity, but Corgi's not having it. They don't get the steal, and Corgi's taking a lot of damage, but they're in the pit. They're stuck in it. Corgi giving his life so his friends can get some damage out. Desire gets gunned down, or bowed down rather, and Doppler gets knocked up by the Call of the Forge God. Kai Dan's looking for a kill. The Blast Cone saves him barely. The Ninja wants to assassinate the Archer. Cleanse for nothing, actually. Trying to cleanse a slow, but in the end here, Doppler is able to get a kill, equalizing the kill score 2-2.
yeah, I like how Apex Tamaraws plays around with the information they have.
Mm-hmm.
They knew that Parzival based, and so basically that's just a free dragon, no? Pero Corgi made a mistake there. So nag-blast zone siya, and the enemy knew that Gragas doesn't really have a flash, and nag-tilt pa yung smite contest. So yeah, that's a really bad trade for HAU, no? Kasi yeah, Apex basically got that first Drake, na-burn yung teleport. No?
Mm. And that basically just trades kills here for FEU, and that's how they try to get these leads, right? They can't hindi sila pwedeng lumaban ng normal laban sa HAU with this comp. So they have to force HAU out of position, maybe bait out some crucial abilities from HAU, and hit them from the side. That's basically what this comp is made for. If they can continue doing that, forcing HAU to make mistakes and punishing them from the side, uh, by stabbing them from the side, then FEUA actually has a good chance of getting a big lead here. But yun nga, one mistake and HAU can capitalize on it. Shuriken flip goes to Doppler. Sealed Fate does not hit, but it might be enough with the ignite. That is going to be Parzival taking a lot of damage, though Body Slam does not hit Titan Jill, which lets the shotgun take him out. Corgi now on the run, but it seems like Desire does not want anything to do with that as Kaidan gets right in there for the assist.
Yeah, Parzival here has been constantly punishing Kali on the undercover, no? So siguro Apex Tamaraws spelled that out na Parzival is a bit overextended, so they were just there to punish Parzival, even though he was supposedly able to escape, wala pa rin eh. Graves got that,
Still
and
though,
quick
this
for
is
Graves. Yeah.
FEUA with a small 300 gold lead and Mountain Drake on their side. Of course, Mountain Drake and Ocean being the first two Drakes is actually good for FEUA since they want the Drake to be Infernal. So that's a 50-50 chance that the rest of the Drakes in the
Oh,
game will be Infernal. No? So that's what FEUA wants. They want even more damage. They just want to uh, get a gorilla grip onto HAU and take them out from there really fast. So as for FUA, they just need to continue making aggressive plays and punishing HAU for committing, no? And at this
yeah.
point, Parzival and Doppler evenly matched here, but Desire starting to roam around means that Parzival has to think twice of trading with Doppler here.
Yeah. I think it seems like we're not having that much team fight going on bot lane. Kasi they knew that Parzival is possibly biggest threat on how now. So siguro Pantheon realized na wala siyang masyado magagawa on bot, so maybe he could just roam. Especially when he's already level 6. He can
See,
go on
FU
mid lane,
knows,
go on top lane.
despite their draft, FUA knows that their comp
Yeah.
can't team fight properly. So they just go for these smaller scale fights where they can maybe get a pick off, maybe catch someone out of position. And right now it's a stalemate. FUA is just looking for a chance to crack HAU open. Meanwhile, HAU is just trying to weather the storm and eventually outscale FUA with just having a more consistent front line, having a more well-rounded team.
Yeah, especially they knew that Parzival is consistently pushing that wave on the mid. Siguro, yeah, so Pantheon was just basically there to punish Parzival kasi Parzival has been known that he's the one of the most aggressive mid laners we have here. So, basically, nandun lang siya para mag-go.
So Parzival's really looking to
Oh,
punish Doppler here, but Shuriken Flip means that Parzival's a little bit too overconfident and Doppler gets a kill and shows them the badge, but immediately gets punished by Corgi with the dunk from the body slam into the explosive cast. So still a lot of one-for-one trades here, but Parzival really actually got outplayed there by Doppler.
yeah. So, yeah, like we said earlier, yung Yone versus Akali is a skill matchup, no? So, but in that case kasi Parzival there was really outplayed by Akali. So, yeah, he got punished by that. And siguro when Akali is been able to get that Hextech downgrade, Parzival would really have a hard time facing him on mid lane, no? Especially when Parzival is quite a bit behind on the item when he tries to build that Phantom Dancer, no? Tapos bigla pa siyang buwi ng Vampiric Lifesteal. I think
Just to
it's
get a little bit more
questionable, no?
sustain, to match the sustain of that Akali with the Bilgewater Cutlass. So
Pero I think it would have been more ideal if
for damage.
Parzival would have just gone for Phantom Dancer eh.
But Ocean Drake gets taken by HAU, and unfortunately for FUA, actually it's not that bad. They get Cloud Drake role for the rest of the game. But this is going to be Rift Herald, the point of contention. It almost gets reset here, but that is going to be the knockups onto the Jin. Styx flows down the river Styx indeed as he dies, and the rest of HAU are scrambling to take down the members of FUA. They're super squishy, but the damage is pushing through. Next does not have a front line, and it seems like FUA actually wins this fight 3 kills to 2. And how they're kind of faltering at that point, not
Yeah.
being able to respond to that team fight.
Even though Ginger wasn't really able to place himself for a position, yung position kasi ng How isn't really that good. I mean, Next got cornered by Graves there, no? I mean, Graves with the Red Smite, you can really 1v1 Graves with an Ash. Especially when they don't really have an item. So, I think that's quite questionable there for How na they tried to get that RH. No? Siguro, they medyo greedy sila at that point and when nakuha nila yung Drake, and they still want to get that RH.
Mhm. And since there, how was out of, like you said, out of position. Uh, that's where FUA's comp thrives, no? If the enemy is out of position, if they're exposing themselves. And here, this could potentially be a dive here. Kasi yun nga, this is a 2-0 and 4
Oh,
Graves and a 1-0-2 J. So they could potentially just straight up dive this this Ornn, but it turns out they didn't get the damage enough onto Red Black, they're just gonna get satisfied. Be satisfied by taking the top turret, the first turret of the game. So it's actually looking good here for FEU Alabang. The Apex Tamaraws, they're able to exploit HAU's mispositioning and thrive in the ideal environment for their comp.
Yeah, so I think that's just the right choice for kasi you can it's really hard to dive an Ornn under tower. So yung first tier turret na lang yung naging target nila, which is really good, no? Pero for HAU naman has been committing a lot of mistakes here, no? Na eventually lagi silang napapunish ng FEU. We're already on 40 minutes of the game and yung lead isn't really that high pero it's still FEU with that lead when it's supposed to be yung how you nakakapitalize on how Apex would commit their mistakes, no?
Mhm. And that's really troublesome. That's really worrying looking into the next 5 minutes of this game. If FEUA is able to get more and more of these kills against HAU, then it's very easy for them to go out of control. Even if they don't have a front line, despite the nerfs to Graves. Oh, it's gonna be a fight though. Parzival versus Doppler. It seems like Parzival still struggling to take down this Akali and has to seal Fate back under his turret without dealing damage to the Akali. So it seems like hindi pa niya gamay masyado yung Yone, especially against someone very mobile like Akali. But this is gonna be Doppler. He is getting hunted down by Corgi here. Just goes straight for the knockup into another knockup here from the Yone. Gets a shutdown here, but at this point the shield won't save Parzival as Desire gets the kill. But that is going to be Corgi immediately blowing Titan Jill up, and that's going to be Desire, the remaining member in this team or in this squad here. I guess taken out for 1-for-3. Meanwhile, Soba is hard pushing top side. I think Red Plank is going to be rushing his way there as well as Corgi, while the rest of the house squad tries to take down this bot lane turret.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying earlier. No? Okay, Yone would really have a hard time if Akali was able to build that Hextech Gambit kasi on that case kasi Yone doesn't really have Phantom Dancer when Akali already have a Hextech Gambit. So it would be really hard for Yone, you know. Pero I really like how knew that kailangan ng Ashe yung kills, no? Kasi potentially yung Ashe kaya niya talaga mag-carry ng game. That damage per second coming from Ashe would be a great threat for Apex Tamaraws.
Yeah, mahirap lang talaga on an Ashe specifically since wala siyang mobility, cleanse lang meron siya. But FUA doesn't really have CC, they just have pure damage against an immobile target or against an less mobile target. It's gonna be easy to take down next. But of course, that's where Corgi and Parzival come in, no, to back up that damage. It's gonna be the Cloud Drake here. The point of contention, 17 minutes into the game. Let's see if this is a turning point in this game. Corgi taking a little bit of damage from the Shock Blast as well. Soba chunking him down a little bit. Parzival looking for a kill. Doppler chunking Parzival down as well. Soul Unbound is going to get him back.
Oh, no.
Got some first damage onto this Yone, but multiple knockups on this Akali means that this Yone lives to see another day, and this Akali gets taken down. Back to the Shadow Realm. Ooh,
That was really close for Yone.
Yeah, that was super close, but they are going to go straight for it. Parzival is taking a lot of damage from Soba despite the exhaust. He's just hanging by a thread here. The Vamp Scepter actually saves him, and then the shields coming in from his passive. The double knockup from the Call of the Forge God means it this hammered down onto FEUA. Styx has to be careful. Dodges, actually no, it's just straight up misses. The concussive blows here does not proc onto Styx, and it is a bit of a Cloud Drake going to HAU.
Yeah. I mean, wow, no? Just wow. I mean, that's a really great outplay from Parzival there. Not only he did escape from Akali, pero he was able to outplay that Jace as well, no? And after the clash, buhay pa siya. And after that, HAU got that Drake pa. So that's, I think, siguro, Parzival here is the MVP material, no? I really like how what he did, yeah.
Yeah, worth talaga
Yeah,
yung
first,
Vamp Scepter.
at first I was thinking if it was a choke from Parzival, pero that doesn't seem the case. They prove us wrong na Parzival
Kung
kaya
choke
talaga
man
mag-outplay.
yun, madali siyang nag-recover.
Yeah.
Kasi alam niya yung lifesteal niya, alam niya yung shield passive niya, alam niya yung kakayanan ng team niya.
I mean,
Pero still though, that was super risky.
Parzival skills, no?
Oh, that was
I agree, that was risky. Pero, yeah, buti na lang, Parzival is really good playing Yone.
But Rift Herald once again seems like FEUA will continue to take the Rift Heralds in their favor, and they can use these. No, I think if since FEUA really has trouble pushing turrets, if they can get momentum by getting a Rift Herald out, then it could be really useful for them.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Siguro, on the next part, they would try to land that RH on mid or potentially pwede yung Jace na mag-split push eh. Whenever there's a team fight going, Jace would be just there to potentially split push sa mga side lanes. No? Kasi we all know that Jace is a good champion to push on the
I
side
mean, yun yung
lane.
nangyari kanina. Kaya inhibitor turret na lang yung nasa top side ng HAU. And yeah, if they can, yeah, they just have to, uh, yeah, they just have to fight HAU in an indirect way. And when they do hit them, lagging dapat from the side. From the side, they take out a priority target. They punish mistakes here. That's the play style for FEU Apex Tamaraws with this comp. And they really have to be extremely careful here because yun nga, if they make a mistake, 3 of them are gonna get taken down here. But Doppler, he does have initiative onto Parzival, but the knockup comes through on the shield, and the lifesteal saves this Yone. Oh man, that is coming in clutch. That Vamp Scepter and Red Flank is just gonna repel Soba here. Desire is gonna get knocked up. Lots of shielding coming in from the Aegis Assault, but it's not enough to save his life from the arrows, and it's gonna be Nex. What's next here for Styx is he's gonna get blown up immediately by Corgi, and Kaidan Winter's Bite to sink his teeth into Styx there, and that's gonna be how at this point the weakness of FEU Alabang's comps are showing. If they're not the ones taking initiative, if they're not the aggressors, they will falter.
Yeah. So Apex Summers has been committing a lot of mistakes lately, no? So siguro, doon po pasok yung sabi natin kanina na siguro on how HAU would be able to capitalize kung nag-commit na mistakes yung FEU. So I'm really curious how would HAU be able to basically capitalize their lead kasi they already have that 2K gold lead, and in terms of composition, siguro yung Horn would be a great engage, no? Especially when the composition of FEU here isn't really that mobile. Okay?
This kind of sad to watch. And he's so tanky, and he's wasted a lot of the time of FEUA, but a kill is a kill. I think dapat tinapos na lang yung recall niya. But it doesn't seem like HAU got anything too relevant from wasting FEUA's time topside. So I guess that's a small win here for FEU Apex Tamaraws.
Yes. Apex Summers was able to get a small farm after killing Orne kasi potentially HAU pwede sila mag-engage anytime from Orn's Call of the Forge, Orn's ultimate, pero that didn't happen kasi yun nga, Orn up there is a bit overextended, so maybe Apex Summers was there to punish that Orn, knowing na Orn doesn't really have a mobility right there.
Oh, here's the J split push supplemented by the Rift Herald here. So it is just going to, they are just going to use this to try and take down this outer turret, but he has to be careful. They will take down the turret, but he's going to run straight into Corgi. Explosive cast straight back into the, but Corgi does not have any allies around the area with no flash. Also, he's just going to get shut down for free. The rest of HAU is not there to follow up, and that means this Cloud Drake might go in the hands of FEUA, but they have to be careful. Split pushing topside is Parzival. He is on Ignite, not on Teleport, so FEUA has complete control over the Drake pit.
Yeah, this is a really questionable move from Corgi, no? Knowing that Drake is about to come up. So, ang daming nawala sa HAU. Yung potential soul break pressure from HAU, pininayin it for.
Oh. Yeah, but it seems like Parzival is doing the famed Yasuo, in parentheses, Yone 1v9 split push here, but he's trying to outplay this Jace. He does have his soul inbound, and he is getting that lifesteal to try and save his life as well. Look at that lifesteal The shield will come through as well. Look at that. Desire can't even touch him, but he has to be a little bit careful. Knockup goes into
Oh
Desire
no.
here, and that's going to be Parzival popping off, and the top side HAU is cleaning up shop.
Yeah, I thought right there yung how you need to talk, but it doesn't seem like the case, no? Akali got really outplayed by Yone, no? Yone was able to dash Akali's ultimate with his flash, and yeah, potentially pwedeng makuha ng how yung Baron here. If ever they get the Baron here, I don't think if someone would be able to come back pa with that composition. How was able to punish it Tamaraws sa mga mistakes na nagawa nila, and there it is. Yeah,
And Parzival has just been
Baron.
playing this very well, and immediate Baron play here just with Corgi and Parzival, no? So this is looking very bad for FEUA, especially with how they're starting to ramp up na nararamdaman na ng FEUA yung front line nila in terms of Red Flank and Kaidan. And I think yung yung Vamp Scepter nito ni Parzival is the best 900 gold investment in this game. Kasi it's helped him survive so many times. And combined with his passive, actually gives him a lot of deceptive tankiness, no? Or not so tankiness, sustainability in these fights. That's why he has the confidence to go in so deep na tas hahabulin siya ni Doppler or ni Desire, tas yun pala, hindi nila kaya yung lifesteal.
Yeah. So, yung Vampire Scepter is a really good buy from Parzival. No? It shows na, yeah, nakapag-sustain siya from the lanes. Pero siguro, Parzival's been smurfing for the past, I think, 10 minutes, no? Almost lahat ng naka 1v1 yan, outplay niya. And I don't think Apex Summons would be able to shut down Parzival at this time when, especially, Parzival's next item would be Dance, no? And the only composition you have on the Apex Summons side is Graves, Akali, days na couldn't really put pressure on Yone, no? Especially when Yone still does a lot of damage pa, not just getting tanky from that build. Actually, may yun nga.
Oh, he's going straight in and assassinates Styx with the soul unbound. That's how you play Yone. And this is the signal for HAU to start hammering down onto the bot lane inhibitor turret of the Apex Tamaraws. And look at that, Parzival, he doesn't care. He's going full 1v9 here in this game. And look at that, 9, 4, and 6 with an enhanced Infinity Edge means that he's dealing a lot of damage, and he's starting to build up into more lifesteal here. Look at that.
Parzival right there, no? Jin right there wasn't been able to react, no? He wasn't been able to get that kill, no? Kasi that burst damage coming from Parzival is really, really high. Na hindi yan expect.
So when he gets a 100% crit with IE, upgraded by Ornn, that is insane amounts of damage.
Actually, that Infinite Edge has already been upgraded, no? Pero how secured to inhibitors na. And siguro potentially, they'll try to pressure the top lane as well kasi yun na lang yung lane na walang inhibitor. So let's see how Apex Summons would be able to defend this inhibitor on their top side.
It's very difficult for this comp, you know? Like I said, mahirap. If you're behind on this comp, you might as well start thinking of what to do next game. Or the next day of group stage. Kasi this is not a comp that wants to be behind. This is a comp that thrives on being able to instill fear and control the movements of HAU by outmaneuvering them and picking them aside, picking isolated targets off. That's impossible enough for HAU. Oh, Enchanted Crystal Arrow is immediately cleansed here. Winter's Bite onto Titan Jill. This is Kaidan in the front lines, blocking the damage, blocking the deadly flourish. And it seems like it's just making space for the side lanes to thrive. But back to my point earlier, at this point, you can't, even if you take down next, Parzival is unkillable. You have no CC to stop his lifesteal other than the shield vault. Actually, that's it. You have nothing to stop his lifesteal.
It's literally unkillable na. After Distance, nag-stopwatch pa siya. I don't think Apex Tamaraws will be able to shut Parzival down. Pero siguro, the takeaway from this is teams should be able to learn how to draft, no? Not only on how they execute their composition, pero drafting is really vital here. Medyo nagkulang lang sila on that part, pero still, good game from HAU. I think HAU is gonna end this na.
And it's just going to be a team fight here. FEUA needs to make a last stand. Look at that. So unbound to weave in and out of the front lines here and just heal himself back up with his death. And actually, he didn't heal himself kasi hindi siya binigyan ng minion ng teammates niya. Pero so far, how? Are they actually not going to end just yet? Even though there's 3 inhibitors down, I think they're still going to get a last Cloud Drake. I'm not sure why.
I
I
think
don't
they
think
want to take this slowly, no? Siguro slowly but surely.
slowly but surely,
Yeah.
no. Pero they're already 12k,
Yeah.
not 8k gold ahead against this kind of composition with a super fed Yone. So guess I do get the I think at this I think Desire's inting, but
Yeah.
he just
Oh,
barely
that's
survives there. But the arrows here for next able to take him out. I think FEUA sees the writing on the wall. They're just right now they're thinking, okay, what can we learn from this game? The most important takeaway is the draft. You
yeah.
have to understand uh, how to fill the gaps in your own composition. Oh, Parzival though. And it goes a little too deep and goes into fountain range, but the rest of HAU though is able to finish off the job. Soba, they're trying to act as interception at the back line, but it's not having it. And Parzival is just looking for targets. The shield comes out, the life steal comes out, and HAU 30 minutes into this game with a 10k gold lead gets a 2-0 into this group, forcing FEUA into a 0-2.
Yeah. So I think yun nga, Apex Tamaraws, right? Their composition wasn't really good. So I do agree with you there that yung takeaway from this is siguro teams should try to learn first how to draft now. Kasi drafting here is really vital. Sometimes even after champion select, you can already tell na, hey, this composition has a I mean, it's great pa. I mean, mas may upper hand job in terms to the opponent's composition. So siguro the second thing is their inability to execute their composition. I mean, for the early, yes, it's been going great for Apex Samaros. They were able to secure a few kills. They were able to get a solo kills. Pero after that, yung margin of error nila lumaki na. After that, yung consistent mistakes ng Apex Tamaraws lumabas, and how Redder was able to punish them.
Yeah, definitely the longer the game went, syempre lumalaki, nagsa-scale up yung comp ng HAU. Yun nga, yung margin of error ng FUA is lumiliit. So in that sense, they can they have to make less mistakes, or yung insurance nila for mistakes ay bumababa. And at that point, yeah, it's really about the draft. I think that game was decided from the draft talaga. And the rest of it was like 75% of that was the draft, 25% was the execution from how the Parzival doing like 1v9 split pushes. And yeah, I think how main or Valiant Archangels can still stand to polish up their gameplay, because we saw a lot of sloppy mistakes early. Pero umayos naman later in the game. But they just need to polish that early game kasi other teams will exploit that. US, like if they make it to playoffs, like what are the other? LG Hydra, Blation Esports, uh, UST, they will try to exploit that early game sloppiness from Valiant Archangel. So they just have to polish that as well. So I hope you guys that voted HAU win are quite happy. Actually, we do have a winner for our Globe Prepaid Virtual Hangouts chat rally. Yenil Samson. Yeah, YENNYL Samson. You are our winner for this game's chat rally. Just contact the AcadArena page for to get your prize as well. And congratulations to HAU for going 2-0 in this group, and this is setting them up to be quite a contender for this group. Um, and we already discussed what should be done here for both teams, and I think at this point, uh, yeah, I think at this point, we're just gonna have to prepare for the last day of group stage next week, November 1. No? So if you're for a college student or even an SHS student, and you're interested in collegiate esports or esports in your school, make sure to check out AcadArena.com or the FB page AcadArena PH for more info and join the Alliance League. Of course, we have been your shoutcasters. I'm Hyron. With me was Vansu. Come join us for Valorant, Mobile Legends, and of course League of Legends in the following weeks. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you guys stay for next week as well. See you.